everyone. Welcome to Eat Well, Be Happy. I'm Deborah.
I'm John.
And we're going to be making three great dishes for you. We're going to be making a Tex-Mex burger made with grass-fed beef. And we'll be telling you why. John is going to be making a
Southwestern salad with black beans and corn.
And then we're going to finish it up with a fruit salad with pineapple, sort of keeping with the Tex-Mex theme there, I guess. So we're going to make the burgers first because they have to cook and the other things don't. And I'm using about 2 pounds of grass-fed beef. And I asked myself, why grass-fed beef? It's a lot leaner, it's a little tougher, it's a little harder to work with. But the reason for me is not only that the animals are a lot happier and treated more humanely, but the grass-fed means that it has more of something called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. And conjugated linoleic acid people buy as a supplement because it helps prevent belly fat. There are also some studies now showing about it's being used in other health conditions. But grass-fed beef has 3 to 5 times higher amounts of CLA than the farm lot stuff. So, you know, you're doing yourself a favor. You're eating beef the way it's meant to be, old-fashioned way with CLA. And the same with dairy products. If you know you're eating dairy products from cows or that have been grass-fed, the same thing, you're getting more CLA. So my mother always used to put rice bran in her burgers, and I'm going to do that too. Rice bran, in addition to being a good source of fiber and keeping the burgers more moist, rice bran also has a lot of health properties, some of which I understand are sort of normalizing hormones. So, well, that's true, I don't know. But here goes the rice bran. So about 1/4 cup of rice bran, 1 good, fresh, farm-raised egg, putting into our compost bin. And then we are going to be putting in about 6 cloves of garlic, using this little Roselle garlic press, which is very easy on the wrist. And the cloves are a little small, so sometimes you can snuggle in 2 at a time. All right. Up. Sometimes they leap. So we've got our garlic. And now we're going to be putting in about a teaspoon of chili powder. And then about 1/2 cup of salsa. And I'm using a salsa made actually by someone in New England, and it doesn't have vinegar, so I like that. I'm just not partial to salsas that have vinegar. So we're going to do I'm going to eyeball it, about 1/2 cup, maybe that was closer to a cup. And a little bit of a good salt, again, making sure we're not using a salt that's been stripped of all of its nutrition. And about a teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to sort of lightly massage it. This is the part that exfoliates the hands and makes them look prettier, so they say. And they do say with hamburgers not to work them too much because it makes them tougher. But I'm afraid I have to work it somewhat because I've got that rice bran to incorporate and the egg as well. And I know many people don't put those ingredients in their burgers, but I have here. So John, would you mind turning that pot on for me? We're using a cast iron skillet because they just cook so great.
There we go.
All right. So again, my mother used to just sort of lightly pat hers and leave them nice and thick. So I should wait for the oil to heat up. So forgive me for not doing that now. But I'm just going to make probably about 6 burgers out of this 2 pounds. So that's a big burger, isn't it? Too big? No, I'm only making 5, aren't I? All right, I'm only making 5 burgers out of these 2 pounds. So at home, you probably want to make less. But that's what I'm doing for now. All right. So we're just going to let those burgers, we'll cook them, if they were thinner, then they'd probably cook about 4 minutes per side. I've made these nice and thick, so we're just going to play that by ear. But we're going to do that, and John will make his Tex-Mex salad. Sure. I'll wash my hands, and we'll move on.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right, John.
All right.
So,
So,
your
The
Tex-Mex
Tex-Mex
salad.
salad.
So the ingredients are
We have red and green pepper,
corn,
corn,
organic corn.
organic black beans, and
And what bowl are you mixing these in? The hat bowl.
yes.
I'll say something about corn. Really important to use organic corn. Again, organic corn isn't sprayed and it isn't genetically modified, and for me that's something that's really important. For genetic modification, I just don't know, and there's too much I don't know, and it scares the living daylights out of me. So, all right.
all right. So we take our red and green pepper. We're going to do a chop on these. You want them just bite size. You want to try to keep everything about the same size as your beans and your corn, so that it's nice and, as you said, easy to put in your mouth.
Yeah.
You don't want to have bits hanging out while you're trying to get your food in.
Or stuck in the teeth.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Which gets harder and harder as you get older.
Yes.
Just ask me about that.
All right. And these, so nice fresh organic green peppers and red peppers. All nice and small, and we could put them put everything in the bowl.
Maybe we want to move that bowl
Yeah,
kind of here for you.
sure.
I like the way you're cutting the peppers. I never knew how to cut a pepper and not waste the end part, so I really appreciate
Yep.
the fact that
You
you're...
try to use all of it because you don't want to. It doesn't do any good if it's in the compost.
Or on the trash.
Or
where
in the
it's-
trash.
Or the garbage
Right.
disposal.
It only does it only does well if you eat it. You only
So-
get the nutrition if you eat it.
One thing about red peppers is they have a lot of gluten, and tomatoes do too. So tomatoes were in our salsa there.
Yes. And
Lycopene.
this is the this kind of salad you really can't go wrong with any of this. You can have your different color peppers, different color onions. I'm using a red onion, but you could use a yellow onion, whatever you've got.
I like the color of the red though.
Yeah, it's nice. The colors of the red onion and the red pepper and the green, and you got the yellow from the corn.
This is a really simple salad that
It
I
is.
think we've been making since the beginning of time
Yep.
in the store, and people love it because it has all the flavors meld and sort of just complement one another, I think, and it's very pretty.
It is.
And all the ingredients are easy to find too, so that's another thing that's important.
It's a truly tossed salad.
I'm being spit at here.
So the corn and black beans.
And you've got
then
your
got-
pre-chopped.
I've got some more of the peppers and onions chopped up already.
I got that.
And then got jalapeno. You can use more or less, depending on what you like. A nice fine mince on that so that it's not too overpowering. And then we got our dressing, which is a real simple dressing. Quarter cup of olive oil, quarter cup of lemon juice, about a teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of mustard powder, and this is sea salt.
Yep.
About a teaspoon of that and a teaspoon of black pepper, and that's it. And a quick whisk.
I look at how easy it is to make dressings, and we always make
Right.
our own dressings, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing to me that people are afraid to make dressings.
Yeah, even just
Yeah,
a little olive oil and
Right.
and
yeah.
vinegar, and that's it. Nice and easy. And then we've got This
Cilantro.
is cilantro, chopped cilantro, which some people don't like the taste of. Sometimes I think it tastes like soap. I use as a substitute. Sometimes I'll use shiso, which is a Japanese herb, also known as perilla, which has that peppery flavor.
Right, and you grow it in your garden.
Yep. And you get it at any local gardening place will have the sprouts. And that
I love the smell
is it. The
of the
smell
cilantro.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing about cilantro, they say it's a chelating agent, so it's supposed to pull toxins out of our body. And let's just sort of clean that up a little bit there. Untouched by human hands. Voila. Do you want to dish some out, or you want to leave it that way?
Well, why don't we do it at the
end?
At the end, we'll put it all together.
Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to need a clean cutting board here.
We just move this stuff off.
All right. The next thing we're going to be making is a fresh fruit salad. And one of my favorites. You know, I can't think of any way better to end the meal than a fresh fruit salad. And as soon as I get that cutting board from John, I can begin. All right, the other side. All right. So I'm going to use one fresh pineapple, and you know that a pineapple is ready when you can pull something out of the top, or you can twist the top, says she. There we go. And I'm going to cut it in half. I know there are different ways to cut pineapple. This is the way I cut it, and it's probably not correct, but you know, when you learn something as a child, by gum, that's what you stick with most of the time.
And the result is really all that matters.
I guess that's so. All right, if you can put those in our little compost bucket for me. All right. So I'm being very wasteful now. I'm trimming too much, but here we go. So pineapple, in addition to being wonderful when it's nice and ripe, has something called bromelain in it. And bromelain is sold as a supplement in natural product stores and is used as a digestive enzyme. So it's one of the things that helps break down food into its nutrients that the body can then absorb. So if you have some fresh pineapple at the end of your meal, then your meal, all of it is going to get digested a lot better. And I'm not, worrying. I'm getting a little bit of stem ends in there, a little bit of I'm not too concerned. Again, because our pineapple is organic. I worry about pesticides and herbicides. I don't worry about a little dirt. To me, a little dirt, everyone needs a little dirt.
It actually helps you build up your immune system.
Very true. Oh, that one was too big. All right. So the nice thing about a fresh fruit salad is that you can change it according to the seasons. And we are lucky that pineapples are available to us year-round. And I always think they make a nice base of any fruit salad. And one thing I'll say about fruit salads, a lot of people put melons in their fruit salads, and I don't think that's a good idea. There's the saying with melons, eat them alone or leave them alone. They actually cause a lot of gas when you eat them with other fruits. So, all right, so we've got there's our pineapple, and I'm going to put in, I think I'm going to turn the burgers off. You're done spitting at me. And mine have cracked a little bit. I either made them too thick or I turned them too soon. I don't know, but hopefully they'll taste good. So I have some organic blueberries that we're putting in. And all of these berries are really high on the ORAC chart. And I always forget what ORAC means, but it has something, it measures the amount of antioxidants in the fruit. And the richer color something is, so the darker in color, usually the more antioxidants it has. And then I'm putting in some absolutely stunningly beautiful raspberries. And I'm going to these are the first of this season's organic peaches, so I'm just gonna, I've rinsed these earlier and I'm just gonna cut them into wedges in here. And I have a little bruise on the end which I'm gonna work around. Thank you. John, I forgot to bring out 2 things for me, and you'll find them in my spice cabinet on the top shelf. You'll see a little container with extracts. I need a little almond extract, and hopefully you'll see a bottle of agave there, and if you don't, that's okay. So you can see what a mess I made of the peach, but I'm leaving it with the skin, and the strawberries, however, I will not put in with the stem ends. I will waste those. All right, thank you. So you can put agave, you cannot put agave, you could put maple syrup or honey or a little bit of coconut sugar. I'm going to use agave today just because it's much more bland in flavor. It doesn't have a distinct flavor of its own like molasses or honey or maple syrup. So
just sweeten without affecting
yeah.
the taste of the fruit.
And I don't always add any sweetener at all, but I am going to today because I could tell when I was cutting the pineapple that it wasn't as beautiful and as ripe as I would have liked it to have been. So, and another thing I learned from my mother, she said anytime you have stone fruit or anytime, and we have peaches as the stone fruit today, or anytime you have a fruit salad, she always put a drop or 2 of an almond extract. And so I do that to this day as well. So it's just a drop. Come on, baby. I put more than a drop. And if you don't like almond extract, then don't put it. Put a little cinnamon or something like that. But anyway, so I'm putting, probably that was about 2 tablespoons of agave. And I'm going to finish putting these strawberries in, and then we'll mix it up and we'll dish them out. And some strawberries I'm having and some I'm not. Some I'm quartering. Again, depends on their size. And I'm not worrying about the little bit of leaf that's there. We'll add a little green to our salad. And I wish it were grape season because green grapes look really beautiful in the salad and give it a nice color punch. But we don't have that today.
You could add a little chopped mint too.
I could. I happen not to like mint in my fruit salads, but I know a lot of people do. So when I think about this fruit salad, I think I've got something that gets the digestive juices going and makes my body absorb the nutrients better. Then I've got, all those high antioxidant values of that ORAC. Blueberries, I think, in the top, blueberries and raspberries, I think, are in the top 50 of foods just in general in terms of how much they have. I think the fruit that is supposed to be higher is Ronia berries or some of the newfangled ones that we're not really seeing in the market yet. We're getting some of them frozen, but not fresh for a fruit salad. All right, so if you wouldn't mind getting all that stuff into my little compost bin there. And let me just sort of toss this together. You're right, it does need mint. It needs something for color. But since we don't have that, we're just going to, and I think, how about handing me this little green, let's see if I can get that out. You always, so I'm just going to put the fruit salad, because we don't have that green color, I'm going to put it in a green bowl and we'll see how that works for us.
Brightens it right up.
Yeah, and I'll put some in a serving dish in a second. So we have our burgers, which I'm going to dish out into a plate. I'm going to dish some of this out into a serving bowl as well. So let's get a serving spoon for that as well. Do you want to get a serving spoon for your salad? So we're just going to put, we'll do that. We'll put it right here. So we have a sort of a light but complete meal here. We wouldn't have to add the burger either because we've got beans and
I've got the
corn,
beans and the corn and that
which
salad.
make a
That's-
complete protein.
Yeah, I try to do a vegetarian meal at least once a week in my family.
Good
and
for
that's-
you.
That's one of the ones that we try to use.
And do you serve it with a green salad, or is that it completely?
That's it, just a complete thing. Although my son insists on having a sausage or something.
Okay.
He has to have his meat.
He has to have his meat.
Haven't convinced him of that. He doesn't really need it, but
Well, there's nothing wrong with meat as long as you're
Yes.
eating healthy meat.
exactly.
All right. So I think we've got our salad here, which has our red peppers, our green peppers, our organic non-GMO corn and beans. We've got our grass-fed beef with rice bran. We've got our organic fruit salad that in the summertime would be really nice to add some green grapes to. And I think this is a lovely light meal
Yes.
and put together pretty fast too. So from Deborah,
And John?
we want you to eat well and be happy, and we hope you're going to love this meat. We hope you make it at home, for heaven's sakes. So do that for us. So John and I ran a little bit short, and we thought we would tell you a little bit about agave. Agave comes from the blue cactus, and most people know of its other product, tequila. But this has nothing alcoholic to do with it. Agave is a sweetener. It has a very low glycemic index, so it's okay for people to have a taste of something with agave if they can't do sugar. The other thing about agave that I like is that it has something called inulin, and inulin is a prebiotic. So it's, our nurse Grace always says, is the fertilizer for the friendly bugs in our gut. So we're encouraging our good bacteria when we use agave. But let me just say that I know there's controversy about agave. I know people think that we shouldn't be eating it. And a lot of it has to do with the processing. You know, so there are some agaves that are made well and there's some that are not. And I like to think that we are only using agaves here today and in our store and in our kitchen that have been processed with care and that are healthy products. But again, like any sweetener, don't live on them. You know, don't have a bowl of agave for breakfast.
What other sweeteners could you use other than agave?
Oh, a bunch of them. We could use a honey, but then I would choose one with personality and a strong flavor. So I'd probably choose a buckwheat or a tupelo or some of those. Or you could use maple syrup, but again, I'd only use grade B because that's thick and rich and luscious. You could use a coconut sugar, you could use a rose water, or you could use a pomegranate molasses, which would also be really nice. And another thing that I didn't mention, that I meant to mention, we could garnish this fruit salad with a little bit of cacao nibs. So this is from the cacao bean, and they are just sort of crunched up. And so not only do they add a little textural interest, but they'll give it a slight, chocolate flavor.
And that's the cacao bean is, they make chocolates made from that?
Right. So it says 100% raw cacao nibs, and we like those.
And what's the benefit of having it raw versus cooked?
I don't think they make nibs that are cooked at all. The benefit of raw is like the same benefits with anything raw. You're getting more of the enzymes or the real food
Right.
without processing. So these are just dried and then chopped.